to 75% growth while reducing expenses. He's advised and worked with a number of Fortune 100 companies, entrepreneurs, global teams, and nonprofits on fresh strategy development, implementations, execution, and follow-up. We could spend the next 30 minutes going over his resume, which is truly impressive. But let me just step aside and introduce Mr. Michael D. Brown.
Yes, good afternoon. So you've probably noticed this is not class as usual, right? This is not what you came to expect. Who knows why they're here? Who's confused? Who just doesn't care? Just get to 6:30 and I'll figure it out. So because I'm a nice guy, and I believe that we should listen to people, and it's been a long day for most of you, so what I'm going to do, because I'm a nice guy, is give us an opportunity to take just a quick 30-second power nap. You'll go ahead and take the power nap. I'll do a little bit of talking, and then I'll tell you when to wake up. So if you'll go ahead and put your heads down and close your eyes, we'll take a quick 30-second power nap, because I believe that you should be given what you want. For those of you who snore, you probably need to quieten it down. So go ahead and close your eyes. Your heads are down. And just total silence. Total silence, Brad, Steve. Right here in this middle section, we're taking a nap, a power nap. Heads down, eyes are closed. Total silence. The world is changing. Companies, organizations can't afford to make a bad hire decision. They must get it right the first time. Companies aren't willing to invest in generic employees. They're using their limited funds to only invest in the best brands in the world. So while you're taking that power nap, take a quick second to say, why would anyone hire me? Why would anyone hire me? The hiring decision is generally made within the first 30 seconds that you walk into the room. And they spend the rest of the time validating what they think they saw, heard, and believe about you. If you're generic, there's no need to invest in you. You can get generic any place. But if you are a brand that's in demand, a brand that's delivering solutions and results, those are the folks who will get the non-Roman noodle salaries. So why would anyone hire you? Why would anyone hire me? What is my brand? Am I a brand or a generic? Why would anyone invest in me? Good evening. You can wake up now. How'd that feel? That was enough. Sometimes all you need is that little 30 seconds. You hit the snooze button about 40 times. My alarm starts at 5:30 and ends at about 8. So you're at the great Prairie View University. Some of you are out of school and you're here because you want to understand, how do I prevent myself from graduating into poverty? How do I land a job? How many of you are scared to death that you're going to graduate and not have a job? How many of you know people who've been out of work for a long time? Would you hire them if you had a company? Why would you hire them? And why would anyone invest in you? Why would anyone hire you? That's what we're here today. You won't leave the same. If you hang in there with us for the next hour, we'll have a lot of fun, but you'll walk away with a branded commercial that you can say, this is why people should hire me. Michael, these are the gaps that I have, and this is what I intend to do to close them. I want to put a couple of numbers up and tell me what you think they mean. Anyone, what does that number mean? $26,342. Poverty? What's your name? Salary. Anyone else? Average salary? Monthly salary? Who are you working for? But I like it. I like it. I like that. That's only a couple $1 million. Hey, you take out red bottoms and hairdos, you're down to 1.5 million and all that stuff, so you're fine. I want you to listen to this. 50% of Americans make $26,342 a year. 50% of Americans. $26,342. 50% of Americans. What can you do with $26,342? That doesn't even pay for year one of your tuition. So as business students, you have to say, what's my return on my investment? I'm spending 4 years here, If I'm going to end up with $26,342, I can work overtime at Walmart and get that. What do you think this number means? That's not a number. 60%. What do you think that number means? 60%. And we're going to participate in this class because you got some. Oh, I forgot to tell you something. This is why you should participate. In front of you is called Fresh Lingo. As the words, if you hear the words, you have to get all the squares right, and there's like some amazing prizes. You get to have a picture with me. I get to autograph it. You can put it on eBay. It'll get $26,342 a week. But no, there's some great prizes. So pay attention here. When you hear the words, you just scratch it out, but you need to get every single box right, and then there's some prizes in there. What does the 60% mean? 60%. 60% of the students who graduated last year said that I'm going to move back home with my mother or my family. Why? Do they like her cooking, his cooking? Why did they move back home? 60%. Okay? Now, what does this number mean? 87%. That's how many actually moved back home. Somebody's plan didn't work out at all. 87% of the students who graduated last year moved back home with their parents because they could not afford to live on their own. 87%. At some point, you can't sleep on that spiderweb bed or Spider-Man and little SpongeBob stuff in the room, so you're probably outgrowing that bed. So I wouldn't put that in my plan that I'm going to move back home with my parents. But that is the reality. 87%. 20%. You know what that means? All the folks, fantastic. All the folks who graduated last year, only 20% landed a job. 20%. And you know why? One is the economy. The economy's always had its problems. But organizations and companies now are only willing to invest in proven brands. If you are generic, there's no need to deal with you. So you have to answer the question with passion and conviction, why would anyone hire me? How many of you believe you are a brand? How many of you believe you are generic? How many of you are in between? I don't know how you be in between a generic and a brand. What does that look like on a shelf? Like a white generic box with a little bit of colored writing on it and it's half price? How many of you ever heard of brands, being a personal brand? But it sounds a bit confusing. How do I become a brand? How do I become a brand, Michael? And because I believe in illustrations, here's what we look like today. How many of you are tea drinkers? A lot of you drink tea. You know, when you start making money, you'll move away from Lipton because most of us, all we know is Lipton, and it took me a while to realize there were more tea in the world than Lipton because that's all we grew up with. But anyway, this is what we look like today. We have the right stuff. We have some substance inside, yeah? The substance is inside. We know that eventually it will become something good, but until it comes in contact with the right solution, it cannot reveal itself. Think about it. We have the stuff inside. It's all packaged up. It comes in a nice box. But until we encounter the right solutions, it cannot reveal the true power of what's inside of us. So pretty much what we look like is kind of a tea in a glass. We're just sitting there waiting on the right solutions to come to really to take us to the next level so people can say, well, what does this tea really taste like? What will it do for me? And today is about getting the right solutions. To be able to immerse your tea into that and then come up with a world-class drink that will solve the thirst of employers and folks that you're trying to go to work for. So today you look a bit like this. It's all inside. I'm not going to put anything new inside. It's right there. You just haven't had the right solutions and come up with the right solutions to let this begin to expose itself, and that's when your true brand will come out. So what we have today is the right solutions, but you can't have the right solutions with just cold stuff. Many of you have been out to a restaurant. You can put 1,750 packs of sugar in cold tea. It does nothing for it. So the only way to get your solutions to really go to the next level is by adding some fire to it. Hot water makes the best tea. If you put a tea bag in there, it will just sit. It's not going to do anything. It will take days for the solutions to really come in contact and bring it up until tea. You have to get yourself hot and immerse into the right solutions. You can't just stay cold and generic and hope that the stuff inside will just begin to envelop. Inside of here are the right solutions, and all we're going to do today is just add a little bit of fire to it, fire up the stuff you have inside, put it under the right solutions, and just let it percolate a little bit over the next hour. And then when you drop the tea bag in there, just imagine what begins to happen. That's what it's about today. Am I in contact with the right solutions? I have some pretty dry stuff inside. I've been a bit cold. I've been a bit discouraged. And I'm still hoping to have a glass of tea by putting a dry tea bag into cold water. And today is about igniting the passion inside so that it comes in contact with the great substance you have and develop this brand. Questions, comments? How was that for a metaphor? That was pretty hot, right? I thought about that on a plane. I'm like, that's pretty hot, Brown. That's pretty hot. You're going places. So what do we know about, so that's what we're going to, so personal branding. What is brand? What is a brand? What's a brand? A specific type of thing. Thing sounds a bit generic, but we'll say a specific type of thing. It is that, and you want to write this down, it's that solid and consistent impression that comes to mind at the mere mention of your name. What's your name here?
Darwin.
Darwin. So when I say Darwin, what comes to mind? When we say Oprah and Tiger, what comes to mind in terms of the brand? When we say Lady Gaga, crazy but rich. Lindsay Lohan, drunk but rich. So that solid and consistent impression that comes to mind at the mere mention of your name is the brand. Here's where it gets really hot. You have to know who you're developing the brand for. Apple knows their customer. Who are you going after? What employer are you going after? So when you're developing a brand, you have to know who's my target audience. That's the first W. Who is my target audience? Who am I going after? Is it IBM? Is it Apple? Who do I want to work for? Who is my target audience? What are the needs, the wants, and the desires of that target audience? And what can I do to deliver better than anyone else? So that solid and consistent impression that comes to mind at the mere mention of your name, and how I develop this brand to make sure that people want to buy it, I have to understand my target audience. Who's my target audience? What are the needs, the wants, and the desires, and how can I deliver it better than anyone else? Now, how many of you think that you're a brand? Who is your target audience? Who are you looking for? What do they need, want, and desire? If you're leading an organization on campus, what are the students looking for? If you're in the workplace, what is your boss looking for? And how can you deliver it better than anyone else? Questions about what is brand? Questions, comments? Either I've just dazed you or put you to sleep, or you're just thinking that, wow, I finally got a solution for this dry tea inside. How can you deliver more competitively than anyone else? Who's my competition? Who's my competition? We all think we're pretty smart, right? We're pretty smart people. Georgia Tech had over 1,000 students apply to their school with perfect SAT scores. Perfect SAT scores. Who's my competition? Who's my competition? Do I know what they're doing better than me? How do I find out what they're doing that's so different? Yeah. What's my competition? And how can I deliver it better than anyone else? Here's what happened to me. I graduated, top of the class, pretty smart, wasn't near as good looking as I was now. That developed much later in life, and thank God for that. So I went to the interview, and the guy was like, you know, why should I hire you? I mean, I graduated summa cum laude. I'm Michael D. Brown. Duh. It's like, but what's so different about you? I graduated in the top of my class. But what can you do? I'm smart. And I don't know if anyone is from there, and forgive me if you are from there, but most of us on our to-do list, we don't have going to Little Rock, Arkansas as a thriving metropolis. That's not on our to-do list. That's where I ended up, in Little Rock, Arkansas, in a 534 square feet apartment. The only thing that improved in my life, instead of having chicken Roman noodles, I had shrimp Roman noodles. I was using my Citibank to pay my American Express and taking a cash advance from my American Express to pay my Discover card. Y'all got that down pack? I know you do. You look at, she's like, yeah, I just did it this morning. Just switch them, just transfer it, just did it this morning. And I'm saying, I had 4 years of college, and I'm making $26,000 in Little Rock, Arkansas. What's wrong? What happened? What did I do? Did I cuss a nun out? What did I do? And I was still pretty arrogant because I really thought that, hey, I'm good. You should hire me. And it wasn't until one interview, a guy who got the job, he just didn't look as smart as I looked, because I was pretty naive thinking that it just was about looks. And I said to the hiring manager, why did you hire him? He said, I knew exactly what he was about. He had a track record of delivering results. You only have to hit me one time. So I went back and looked at the experience that I got in my undergrad and the work experience and began to bring up this commercial. So then I went to the next interview, and they said, why should we hire you? And there was a guy there from Harvard, and there was like 7 of us in the final. And I said, hello, my name is Michael D. Brown. I'm graduating from the Great Jackson State University with a degree in management. By the way, I'm graduating summa cum laude. While at the Great Jackson State University, I had the unique ability to balance and deliver. I led our largest student organization on campus, where we went from 50 members to 150 members, and went from $16,000 in our treasury to $150,000, which was the largest budget on campus, including the Student Government Association. I didn't stop there. I worked full-time at Wendy's, where I was recognized for having the highest average customer count per week, reducing food costs by 15%, and voted Employee of the Month for 6 consecutive months. I'd be delighted to bring that ability to focus and deliver results to your organization. And 14 promotions later, that 30-second commercial, that was my brand around delivering results. And now that people knew my brand and what I was about, I had brand ambassadors in the organization who said, if you need to get results delivered through chaos, Michael is your guy. And that's been the brand I've worked on all of my life. I'm not a basket weaver. I can't play basketball. I can critique people and say, they need more training. But my brand is about delivering fresh results through and with people. And I work every single day keeping that brand fresh and competitive, because I know that you're going to graduate and you're going to try to come for me. And I'll share with you today the formula that I use. It's very, very simple. This is fresh passion. This is not some novel that y'all going to go out and buy. You think, oh, it's getting real deep in here now. Fresh passion. That's the formula that will take you from a generic tea bag to this brand that will quench the thirst of people. Let's take a break and pause for questions, because I've kind of really laid it on you now. And it's either you're confused, dazed, or you're just excited to be here. Questions? Well, we're going to preference that. Yeah, I'm just kidding with you. Go ahead. What is your name?
My name's Justin.
What's your classification?
I'm a junior.
Fantastic.
What do you mean by fresh passion? Can you describe that?
That's the formula I'm going to walk you through around how do you get this brand.
That was some of the same questions. And another one, where are you from?
I have a green card. I'm an American. What are you? Yeah.
I just hear an accent.
Yeah, it's. I made a decision a long time ago that I wouldn't be an Italian thug, so I don't mix the two English together. No, I'm just kidding. I'm an American. Yeah. But we'll talk about it. So here's what happens. Y'all are crazy. Do you know, I've been talking now for about 25 minutes. And there are still those of you who are doubting your ability to move forward. You're thinking about a D that you got last week. You're thinking about something that happened to you when you were 14 years old. You're thinking about your parents who has this dream that you're going to be a doctor, even though you struggled in chemistry, and you're trying to figure out how to tell them that, mother, you're not going to have a doctor in the family. Sorry to dash your hopes and dreams. You'd be lucky if you get a business person. So we're sitting here with all of these things running through our head that Michael is probably right. I'm probably not going to get a job. I'm a junior and I haven't had an internship, so he's probably right. I'm not going to get it. Or I remember my aunt telling me once that you're never going to be anybody, and maybe she's right. and we're validating the past, and all this stuff is in our head, there's no room to receive the fresh passion formula. So you have to purge yourself of the negative things that are keeping you from moving forward, because your past have no authority over how far you go into the future. At some point, you have to let that go. There's absolutely nothing you can do about what happened to you when you were 15. You're not going backwards. Age goes forward. You got a D. Perhaps you deserved it. You didn't study, so you know how to do that better, yeah? Somebody who you thought was your friend turned out not to be your friend. Fine. They were broke anyway, so find a rich friend. Just more room for a rich friend. And it's not all about money in terms of success. Success it can be about money, and that's how we define it in America, but it's really about, am I living the life that I want? Because most of us came here for a better life. Otherwise, we could have stayed at home. So here's what I want to do. There's a bag at the end of this side. If you'll take a balloon out of there and pass it down really, really, really quickly, just take one balloon and let's go real, real quick with that. If you'll do it very, very quickly like you're a great business student, just pass it down really, really quick. Take a balloon out of there. Because there's no room in your head now. You're still thinking about a D that you got last week. So you can't receive what's happening today because there's some stuff that's holding you back. And there are blockages that are holding you back. You got to get them all. Okay, how are we doing on the lingo? I need to mention something else because y'all are behind. You should have more than that one. Come on. You should have like 8 of them. Who has 8? We should be at about 8. I got 9. Somebody's cheating. I haven't said 10. Somebody's cheating. So we're going to talk about integrity. 13. Y'all just marking stuff. I couldn't. You have 13? Yours is probably right. So 13 is probably right. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I need you to really do this because this is going to... I'll tell you, if you do this in honesty, it will open Pandora's box of where you need to go into the future. I want you to think about those things that are holding you back, be it happened 10 years ago, be it happened today. I want you to get them right in the center of your stomach here. Bring those things back. If you need to close your eyes for a minute, all those things that are holding you back, that has you depressed, that has you doubting your ability to move forward, who's thinking that Roman noodle will be your diet for the rest of your life. The thing that's telling you that this is the best car that you're ever going to have. These are the best grades you're ever going to have. This is the best life that you could possibly have. All those things that are blocking you, I want you to bring them right to the force here. And I want you to take the balloon on the count of 5. And we're going to blow all of that stuff out and we're going to leave it into this room. Once you let it go, you can't bring it back in. So we're going to make a commitment today to bring all those things that are bothering you. 15 years ago, 7 years ago, last night, today, this morning, while you're sitting here. Because we need to clear your head for the possible. Okay, on the count of 5, we're going to blow really, really hot. If you need extra balloons, I know some of you probably need 5 or 6. You know, you got a lot of stuff going on up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go. All that stuff. Your crazy cousin, Quaniqua. Yeah. That no good boyfriend you met at the freshman registration, you knew it was no good when you looked at him. Still dated him. The girl who told you her father was a doctor and he's not even working and you started to date her because you wanted to date somebody wealthy. Okay? When you get all of that stuff out, tie a really, really tight knot into it. Baby, what's going on? Let it out. I'm going to join you in that one. She's like, give me more. Let's let it out. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. Go ahead and put a knot in it. You need another one? Hers is what she's like, look, give me I'm going to throw it to you. So not that I meant to, I just want you to get it very, very quickly. Watch out. There we go. So remember when Elaine got mad at Tiger and she pulled that golf club out? I want you to get that kind of mad or get Rihanna mad or Chris Brown mad, but just don't hit her. Don't hit her. So you have it tight? You got a knot in it? Everybody ready? If you're sensitive to noise, you're going to plug your ears here. On the count of 5, we're leaving everything in this room today, and that's going to open us up to receive the fresh passion that will take us to the next level. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5! Come on, come on, come on. How did that feel? That's pretty nice. So here's what I want you to do. Keep some by your bed. So when your spouse get on your nerves, you're like, look, I'm not going to take this out on you. You're too precious. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. And now you're ready to receive the Fresh Passion formula. Fresh is about, am I fresh and relevant? Am I fresh? Is my brand fresh and relevant? How many of you still have a MySpace account? Please don't raise your hand. If we looked at your MySpace account, it says last log in 1999. And haven't updated anything. MySpace wasn't fresh enough to go forward. They didn't understand the marketplace. They didn't understand what customers wanted, needed, and desired. Facebook did. Yeah. And then Twitter. I'm a bit embarrassed to say it, but I was holding on to my BlackBerry for dear life until 2 weeks ago. Because I was embarrassed to pull it out. I was like, nobody has a BlackBerry but me. Because they weren't fresh and relevant. So is your brand solving today's problems? How many accounting majors are in here? When you go to an accounting interview, here's the death sentence for you. If you say you know how to do a spreadsheet by hand, they're going to like, you don't know pivot tables? You don't know Excel? What's your pivot table skills like? We don't do accounting by hand anymore. How many management majors are in here? Yeah. Do you know how to lead X, Y, and Z generations? Can you manage all 3 generations in the workplace? That's about having a fresh and relevant brand. That's what I had to do. Even I had to do that. I told you I was pretty good, 14, 15 promotions. And then and I looked at the competition. I was like, but the competition really is taking it to the next level. So all I did was I just went out and I was like, okay, I got a little bit of free time at Starbucks, and that's what Starbucks does. Starbucks is about being fresh and relevant. They've convinced me that if you come every day and give us $6, we're going to take your life to the next level, and you're going to feel great about it. All we're going to do is take hot water and pour it over coffee bean, and we're going to give you 7 languages that you can't speak, and you're going to feel fine. And every time we think they have it, they come out with a new product. Because they're staying fresh and relevant. So in order for me to say fresh and relevant, all I did was I just went out and just wrote a bestseller that's available in 103 countries. Nothing big, nothing major. I mean, just a bestseller. So to remind people of how fresh I am, because Americans are so inquisitive. Americans just love to know what you're doing. So I fly quite a bit. So every time I'm on a plane, guess what I read? I'm on the same page. I know this page by heart because it gives you the perfect angle for the people on the left and the people on the right so they can see the cover. And they're like, so what are you reading? Oh my goodness, have you seen this? It's like a really good business book. I mean, it's changing people's lives. I mean, it's available in 103 countries, I believe. And I mean, the thing is just really, they're like, oh my God, where do you get it from? I'll sign one for you today. Yeah. Like, we've got to bring you to our company. What's your boss name? I have another one in my bag. I'll make it out to him. That's about staying fresh and relevant. And then when I figured out that only 20% of the folks who were graduating was getting a job, I was like, people are graduating into poverty. It's like, okay, time for another bestseller. How not to graduate into poverty. Only available in 103 countries. And used by hundreds of universities and colleges, and you'll get it for free when you do your lingo. Sorry, go ahead with the question. You can't have lingo because there's some stuff I have not said. You have to have all the squares completed. All the squares. Okay, so we know about fresh. And here's what happened. And most of you, you're ready to hit this one on your lingo. What you're doing now, we call the dash period. What you do between your freshman and senior year. Am I just coming to the university now, or if I'm just at work doing the bare minimum? I'm getting a C so I can see my way out. I'm getting a D because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting an F because, well, someday I'll get it together. That's the generic student. They will graduate into poverty. The branded student will say, I'm going to go to the dean's office. I'm going to go to the placement office. They're going to know my name. Why do you think that every time something goes on in the College of Business, it's always the same people? Because people know their brands. They know what they can deliver. If I came to the university to recruit, there's thousands of students here. Do you really think, honestly, I'm coming here looking for talent the day of the career fair. I've already done my homework. Give me your top 20 brands. Let me take them to dinner. So what have you done? Have you elevated your brand to a level that you're recognized and that people are calling upon you? The placement office, the dean's office, do they know what you're able to deliver? Because you're delivering proof points while you're here. Every professor knows they have about 5 or 6 people. They're like, that's a mover and shaker. If I came to any class and say, give me your best. So you need to be reaching out to your professor and say, what do I need to do to elevate my brand in your eyes? Because they're going to be great ambassadors for you. But the students who are just doing enough to get by in generic, they're not going to invest their political capital in generic people. So what are you doing now? And everything that you do in life, be it in college or outside, is S-T-I-C-K. Stick. You're doing it so that I can't graduate into poverty, so that I can't graduate into poverty. Everything that you do now has to have a purpose. But if you understand where I'm coming from, if you don't know your brand, you may be going to a basket weaving network and you have no interest in basket weaving. So what kind of brand are you trying to build so that you can get the right experience, take the right courses, deliver the right internships while you're here? That's what the dash period is about. Don't just come here 4 years, or even when you get on your job, you want to be the one to say, I'll take it to the next level. I want to stay fresh and relevant. So that's the fresh. And then the passion formula that we'll break down is, how many of you are doing, and you don't have to raise your hands, you can just kind of nod your head. You're doing something now that you're absolutely not passionate about. You absolutely hate it. You're managing people at Taco Bell and you hate people a lot. You hate customers a whole lot. You can't stand people, but you're majoring in management. You despise the details, but you're in accounting. You're in marketing, but you can't even market yourself. And you want a company to invest thousands of dollars for you to market their product. You have to find out today. Look inside to say, what am I passionate about? Connect that to the brand, and life won't seem like work and a chore. You have to stay connected to your passion. Because doing what you're not passionate about, you won't give it 110%. That's why you know people today who are at their jobs, they're like, I'm just working my way up to the top. They hate their job, and it shows. You can't fake it till you feel it on the job. And when you're sitting in that interview and they say, well, what are you passionate about? Well, I really just like helping people, and I love children, and I like making the world a better place, and I really like children. But you are an engineer. You got to get children to build Legos? So what are you passionate about? When you connect with your passion, you can't be beat. I'll give you a very, very quick story. There was this man in Philadelphia who happens to like chocolate and made some chocolate. Quite honestly, it was quite disgusting. Nobody wanted it. He couldn't even give it away to the neighbor. They just hated the chocolate he made. He says, okay, I'll go to Virginia. I heard in Virginia they like chocolate. I'll just take my recipe to Virginia and try to get them to buy it. He got to Virginia, started selling chocolate. They absolutely hated it. He said, if I can make it anywhere, I can make it in New York City. I'll take my chocolate to New York City and I'll try to make it work. They hated it. He went back and said, okay, if I mix a little bit more cocoa in here, make it a little bit more sweeter, maybe that people will try to do it. But I'm not going to give them on my passion, because my passion is really making chocolate. That's all I'm passionate about. I've tried a 9 to 5. I've tried to do other things. I'm not passionate about that. And he stayed connected to his passion, kept refining the process, listening to his customers, and guess who that is today? We buy a lot of it, Hershey's. Staying connected to your passion. If you like doing hair and that's what you're doing, and your friends tell you you do hair well, you got to sometimes check your friends, because they know that stuff is messed up you're doing, but they still tell you it's nice. But we'll talk about getting rid of those friends later. If you really like doing hair, why not own a suite of salons? Why not own a Remy franchise? That's what customers want. So what can you do so different in the hair industry that no one else can do? Think about it. The biggest struggle for women now is, what do I do with my hair in the business world? So what if you came out with really consulting women around? Really, you can do weave, you can do braids, but you really have to understand your target audience. And how do you create that whole brand and not let your hair be a distraction? Something as simple as that. But staying connected to your passion. That's what passion is. Questions? Are you breathing? You still with me? What's your name? You look so happy to be here. She's like, me? Good. You happy? Questions, comments? So let's break down passion. The first P in passion is about preparation. What am I doing today to get prepared? And I can get prepared if I don't MISS, if I don't miss anything. Mentally, do I believe I'm employable? Mentally, do I believe I can go to the next level? Do you really believe you deserve to eat the best, to drive the best, to have the best in life? Do you believe that? How many of you believe that? You believe you deserve to have the best in life? Mentally, do you look successful? Mentally, am I there? Do I believe I deserve to have the best and I'm going to capture it? So we're talking about being preparing yourself. And I can prepare myself if I don't miss anything. Mentally, am I there? What is my image like? How do I look on the outside? You know, I told this student at one of the great universities, I was like, you got to pick a lane. You can't be an IntelliThug. You got to pick a lane here. This stuff is confusing. Because you try to mix good English with bad English and the stuff just gets all crisped up, and you try to put on a suit and tie and you're sagging. You got to pick a lane. So what's your image like? You say that you're about integrity and you're a good upstanding citizen, and I go to your Facebook and you got a 40 knocked upside down. What's your image like? When resumes come to companies, the first thing they do is go to your Facebook. They befriend you. Because you know everybody wants to have a whole bunch of friends. I'm like, oh, I just have my employee as my friend. I didn't know he's been here for 3 years as my friend. So while you're developing this product, you have to do some things to say, I have to lock my wall. I can't let everybody write on my wall. Turn the tagging feature on. You can't be tagged in everybody's photo because you have no control of it, so you turn that feature on. You don't want to be tagged. Because now you're building a brand that you want people to pay for. So we're going to look at our image online. What's my virtual image like? What's my email? You can't be chocolathethunder@yahoo.com. Something about that just tells me you ain't about business. Something else is, nah. Delicious Roman noodles or something. So what's your image like? I want you to look to your neighbor at the left in 3 seconds, real quick, to the left, and then turn your head back. Do you know people will make irreversible decisions about you within 3 seconds, and they spend the rest of the time validating what they believe they saw? 3 seconds. 3 seconds. They make a further judgment about you within 12 feet of you coming to them. And then when you get on them about 12 inches, and then the first 12 words that come out of your mouth. It's not fair, but we just did it. We don't even know the folks to us, and we're like, toenail polish chip must be broke. 3 seconds. So what is your image like? The S in MIS is about skills. Do I have the right skills? I'm an accounting major. Am I taking accounting to the next level? I'm working in corporate America. Am I taking my leadership skills to the next level? What's my GPA like? So when I get my mental right, I get my image right, I get the right skills, and I form the substance of my preparation. That's why I'm prepared now. The A in passion is, we're going to speed up here. The A in passion is about aspiration. What's my aspiration? I want you to do this when you get home tonight. Take a sheet of paper and say, if you could have the perfect day in your life, who would be there? What would you have? Would you be skinnier? Would you be plumpier? Would you have different eyes? What would the perfect day look like for you? If you could draw the perfect day, what does it look like? What does it smell like? Who's there? And then you're going to look at that every day and say, what am I doing today to get to my aspirational perfect day? What am I doing today? Because before you know it, 4 years will be up, you'll be retiring, and you'll say, but this is not the life that I was looking to have. Because you're going to grow up whether you like it or not. You can't put grow up on stopwatch. You're going to grow up. So you can't say when I grow up, you're grown up now, you're fine. This is about, you're okay. What's my perfect day? And what am I doing today to get to my aspirational perfect day? What's my aspiration? Questions about preparation and aspiration? How are you feeling? What's on your mind? So the S is around staying laser focused. We're in passion now. It's spelled Passion. We're on staying laser focused. Staying, Staying, laser focused. The difference between people who are successful or not is the inability to stay focused. How many of us stop if we stump our toe, we say, that wasn't for me, I'm going to go back. The greatest temptation to quit happens right before you were about to be successful. If you look at the failures in your life, if you would have stayed in the race just a second longer, the outcome would have been much different. No matter the distractions and no matter what comes around you, you have to stay laser focused. And if you think about it, if you're honest with yourselves, the things that are causing you to lose focus are who? Your friends, your family, and people who mean you no good. So here's your second assignment you're going to go home tonight. When you do your perfect day, it's like, Shaniqua, why are you here? Why are you here? What am I doing for you and what are you doing for me? How can we help each other? Because most of the time what we like to do is we always want to put people in our circle who's not smarter than us because we want to be the smartest person. And we always put people who don't quite look as good as we do because we want to stand out. We do it. Yeah. Girls are bad at it. They'll go out, you'll see four, you're like, now what happened to her? Why did they pick her? Oh, to make you look better. Okay, got it. Who's in your circle? Who's influencing you? The things that are keeping you from successful today are folks who mean you no good. They're people who are in your lives for one or two reasons. They're to support you or plot your demise. And when you let people own that valuable real estate space in your head, they can foreclose on you at any time. You have to be careful who you have in your circle. You'd rather be lonely than to have some loafers there. And you have to understand and say, this is where I'm trying to go, Boniqua. Where are you trying to go? How do we help each other? Because what will end up happening, this is relationship 101, what will end up happening, you'll get so lonely and desperate, you'll start dating down till you get knee-high to a duck. You started as a premium brand and you got yourself beat up and felt so bad. You start bringing your standards down, Now you're with a no good nothing. And then you're mad that it won't work. That's not your pedigree. That's not who you're supposed to be with. You can't change adults. But he's cheating on me. He was cheating when you met him. You chose the brand. He's a product of your intelligent choosing. Whose fault is that? You chose him. She chose you. But he's not into education. You knew that when you met him. He wasn't, in the middle of the day, he was skipping class. What did you think was going to happen? So be careful who you let in your circle. Because no matter how strong we are, we're influenced by the people who are around us, and that includes your family members. That's about staying laser focused. The S is around selling like you've lost your mind. You've got to be able to sell, why would anyone hire me? Just as I told you about that commercial, I was working at Wendy's. What do you think my job was at Wendy's? What was my role at Wendy's? Anybody can have a guess?
Shift manager, cashier.
Shift manager, cashier? Well, I applied for the cashier job because, hey, I'm into college. They had me on doing the flipping burgers. And guess what I said to the interviewer? I have the unique ability to follow a prescribed process to ensure that product integrity is not lost and that we save money in the process. Because Wendy's has a four-corner process and you don't want to have too much meat on the grill at the same time. So systematically you're understanding when is your higher customer period to make sure you have just-in-time beef. That's how I was able to reduce food costs. I was flipping burgers. So whatever you're going through, whatever job you have, if you're putting happy faces on people at Walmart, you're saying, I have 100% customer satisfaction. Nobody ever complained about how I put the happy face on their forehead. My job at Wendy's was flipping burgers. And I said to the general manager, look, I'm graduating. I'm going to Jackson State. I'm getting my degree in management. I want some management exposure. Can I stay later at the end of the night to see how you process and how you do your food costs? Let me do that. Let me own that project. Because I was STIK, S-T-I-K, so I was building up my resume. Because here's what you have to have. You cannot advertise a product if you don't have a proper brochure. How many of you brought your brochure with you today? How many juniors are in here? How many seniors? So how do we know when to buy a product? They advertise it. They give us a brochure. You have to have your brochure. That's your resume. Because you cannot advertise and get them to the interview until you have your brochure. And that changes over time. I started with a very single one-page one. Hey, but it talks about my brand, about delivering results. So when you know the brand that you're trying to develop, you'll get the right experience, so you'll have the right proof points on your resume. And then I got up until, probably a few years later, and then I got to the point where I had more proof points because I needed to get into the $500,000 salary range, so I needed to develop more proof points to show the decision maker, this is going to be your return on investment if you invest in me. So that brochure will oftentimes dictate What are you worth? How strong is the brochure? The brochure is the first 3-second impression, so you have to travel with your brochure. And you're doing the things you have now so you can get proof points on your resume, so that you can be able to sell to the buyer, this is why you should hire me. Any questions? The I in passion is around invigorate yourself. Misery has enough company. They don't need you on the bus. Most of us cannot be happy until we call Lenene. You have outsourced your happiness to somebody else. Somebody will tell you that you look ugly, and you'll call 3 of your friends to try to validate it. How do you get yourself excited? You have to own your own excitement. You have to stay invigorated and excited about the journey that you're on. Nobody wants to hire somebody who's miserable all the time and not happy about life. Yeah? How many of you are excited? I know you're a little bit sleepy, but find a way to get yourself excited. Okay? I want to do something really quick. How many people have birthdays in March? Stand up. Stand up, please. How many is it? So it's about staying invigorated. And you were born, right? You're not dead. You were born, so that's enough reason to stay excited, right? 8. What's the sign for March? That's not a Scorpio? A Sagittarius? No. A Pisces? So come and get your birthday present. Serve those, give everybody their birthday. And here's the thing. You don't let anybody blow out your fire except yourself. You don't give that to anybody else. You were born to blow out your own fire. You were born to start your own fire, and only you can blow it out. Everybody get their birthday? Give them a hand. Thank you. So that's about staying invigorated. You're in charge of the fire inside. Nobody else can do it. You're in charge of lighting it. You're in charge of blowing it out. You were born to do this. All of us was born to have fire in the belly and to be the person to blow it out. And then when your light go out, you just ask a good friend to light you back up. I love it. Perfect. So the O in passion, we're going to move really, really quickly now. The O is about omitting the negative. Omitting the negative. No matter what comes your way, no matter what the distraction, you've got to stand firm to say, that's not going to distract me. Because mentally, I know that I deserve to have the best, to eat the best, to drive the best. So this negative stuff, I'm not going to let it take residence in my head. Because when you let that poison stuff in your head, it is cancerous. And the only way to get rid of it is you have to cut it out at the root. Otherwise, it continues to manifest itself into negative. Omit the negative. There's no place for negativity. When you go on that job, when you go on that interview, you don't want to be involved with the people by the water cooler. Avoid them like the plague. When they say they don't like somebody, you basically say, well, all of us are different in life, and they have a different opinion than I, but I respect that. You don't get down in the gutter you're flying with the eagles. You don't have that buzzard conversation. You're much better than that when you understand the value of who you are. That's about omitting the negative. So we talked about selling. What's my price? How much are you worth? What are you looking for, salary-wise? Tell me your name? Chuck. How much are you looking for? $150,000. What's my price? What's my brand worth? I'll tell you a secret. Don't tell anybody else. The average pay increase in corporate America was 0 to 3% last year. The people who perform extraordinarily well got a 3% increase. If you have a $50,000 base salary, you get 3% on it, what does that lead to? If you're not a premium brand in the organization, why waste money on you? We need to be going out on the marketplace getting fresh brands and making sure the fresh brands in our organization stay with us, because we know they can leave at any moment and go out on the marketplace. So typically what happens is when you're desperate times calls for desperate things. When you don't know your worth, and you get to May and you don't have a job, you will sit there and we'll say, well, how much are you looking for? Whatever you're offering. And we'll say, well, give me a ballpark figure, please. And you'll say, 50,000. You're like, and then we'll say, oh my, I wasn't thinking that. You're like, well, no, I need the job now, but don't let that stop you. I need the job. How about 40? And like, well, how about 35 and a $5,000 signing bonus? You're like, that's fine. When do I start? You've taken $40,000 in New York City. You're going to have 8 roommates, 3 rats, and you're going to be walking. You have to understand the value of the brand and be able to get the proof points while you're here. When you're going to the interview, you've already researched the company. You know that you're right for the job. You're not sitting in the interview saying, I'm trying to sell myself to be right for the job. You're trying to give them so much value that they say, I can't let him or her leave out of this room, so I better come with my best offer first. And when they say, how much should we give you, how much should we give you, you just say it with a smile and say, I'm absolutely excited that you would think about giving me an offer. And if you would make me a fair and competitive offer, I'd be delighted to discuss it with my family and get back with you within 24 hours. I've already nailed it. I mean, I know they want me because I've researched the company. I know their pain. I know their needs, their wants, their desires. I know how I can competitively give it to them. So this is about trying to get $20,000 more than what they thought about offering, because you got to get a high base salary going in. Otherwise, you would graduate yourself into poverty. What's my price? How do I promote the brand? Marketing majors, this will sound very familiar. We talked about the product. We talked about the price. We talked about the promotion. How do I promote that? Is that through LinkedIn? Is that through Facebook? Please don't do it on MySpace. How do I promote my brand? Am I networking with the right people? Where am I placing my brand? You can't take beef to a vegetarian convention and actually think people will buy it. Where are you placing yourself? Your accounting management majors, are you networking with people who can make a hiring decision for you? Or you're going to a tier marketing event trying to sell coffee or trying to sell Amway or something because, I'm going to a networking event. I'm going to be in multi-level management. They say I'm going to be a millionaire in 6 months. Okay, they sold you some ice too in Alaska. So where do I want to place my brand? We talked about I want to stay fresh and relevant. I need to prepare the brand. And mentally, I need to get there. Here's one of the tests that you can do mentally, because I still want to come back because it's all in your mind. There's 6 degrees of separating success today, right here. 6 inches are separating your success. 6 inches are separating. It's right here in the mind. I have to have that conversation with myself all the time. I started having that conversation very early on. On a Sunday morning, I would take my Nissan, it was a hoopty, and I would park it far away, and I would go to the houses on the golf course that were something like $800 to $1 million, and I would go there, and I'd have my only white shirt on that had been starched to death, by the way. And the lady would say, sir, what are you looking for? I was like, I'm looking for a home. And she's like, these start at about $850. I was like, what about the one on the 18th hole of the golf course? How much is that? So she's like, those are about 1.5. She's like, when are you looking to move? I was like, real soon, real soon. She's like, well, you need a sizable down payment. I understand that. And it's like, well, but are you serious? Yes, can you give me access to the house? And she would take me over there, and I was like, well, when I walk barefooted on this carpet seems a bit not plush. If we just upgrade the carpet, how much just throw that in. And she's like, well, I'm not really interested in the cost. I'm interested in the experience. And every time the negative will pop in my mind and I would try to get uninvigorated, I would pop that in my head. You want to stay in this 534 square feet apartment, or you want to go here? Mentally, you have to get yourself there. And you think about it, gas has gone up to like $4, and we're about to have a fit. So gas was about $3.20, right? And it's about $3.80 now, so that's about 60 cents. So look at what you just did to your mind. You are about to have a heart attack because it costs you $6 more to fill up your car. That's all it costs, 60 cents more times 10 gallons, because you have a poverty mentality. $6 more, and you're about to have a fit. I'm not driving tomorrow. Girl, it's $6. Or you'll go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and spend 30 minutes on the menu. I got $4. Okay, if I tell them to give me this and substitute the breast for that, I want no coleslaw, I want an extra biscuit, and then put some, okay, and give me a cup of water, and then I'm gonna put some Coke in that. No, I'm gonna put Sprite because they'll see that. Let me think, what else can I get? Let me think. I don't want any mashed potatoes. Can I get an extra wing instead of mashed potatoes? No. Because we've allowed ourselves to come here. And here's what I want you to do. You get yourself $20 in your hand, and you go to Kentucky Fried and said, like a 15-piece, please. Just drop it down. 15 piece. 15 piece. All white. All white. All white meat. All white. And then when you go to the gas station, don't sit there and shake. Just drop it. Fill it up. Fill it up on 5. Fill it up on 5. Don't care how much it costs. $80, fill it up. Because it's planting something in your head now that in order to have a greater life, I need to do some things differently. But I can't have this piece where I'm sitting out there at the gas pump for 20 minutes. By the way, there's nothing else in that hose. You can keep shaking it. There's nothing else in there. It's all out. Most of our cars would stop if we fill the tank up. It's never experienced a full tank of gas. We've never put a full tank of gas in the car. Is that the life you want to have? That doesn't have to be your future. If you transition yourself from that dry substance to a brand where you are living in abundance and you're able to help people and you're able to live in your passion and you're not spending 40 minutes trying to figure out how do you get a breast instead of when you know it's not part of the two-piece. You already knew a breast didn't come with it. I was interviewing for a job, the job I was telling you about, and it was involving flying a lot. Every week I would go to the airport with my luggage. It wasn't a Toomey. I have a Toomey at the time because I believe, good people should have good luggage. And I would go up to the counter and I'd look at the flight. And she said, "Sir, are you traveling today?" I was like, "I'll be back." And I'd walk away. I was setting my mind to where I wanted to go. Built a dream house with a swimming pool, and people who are a little bit shady like us, we don't swim. We have waterfalls in the backyard. We don't swim. Because what I want to do is I want to be in a position that I help people to live better lives. It's not about me. How much more chicken can one man eat? It's about getting for you so that you can help others. And things will come back to you. So that's about this whole mental piece. Let's nail the brand. We talked about preparation, aspiration, selling like you're crazy, staying laser focused, invigorating yourself, omitting the negative. And we're going to get prepared by not missing anything. Mentally, I'm there. I have the right image. I have the right skills. I have the right substance. And I need to nail the brand to bring it all together. When people see it, they need to see the whole package. I need 3 people here who really, really like chocolate to come to the front while I'm talking. 3 people who really, really like chocolate can come to the front while I'm talking. But how do we pack? 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. So what do I look like as a package? Thank you. Stand right here, please. What do I look like as a package? When I bring it all together, when people see me on Facebook, when they see me on Twitter, when they see me in class, when Dr. McNeil see my work, will he say, "That looks like your work"? Are you known for producing excellence? Go ahead and close your eyes. I promise not to do anything that doesn't look funny on Facebook or YouTube. It might. So go ahead and close. So what do you look like? What's the total experience like? That's when you nail the whole brand. Go ahead and close your eyes, please. What's the whole experience like when people really, really look at it? Go ahead and open your right hand, please. Drop it, and I will be on the couch for the next 6 months. That's your left hand. Okay, yeah. You're going to. Go ahead and open your eyes, please, and go ahead and what you have. What do you think about this? What do you think?
Dark chocolate and
regular chocolate. Go ahead and eat it, please. It won't do anything that will not put you in the hospital for 6.7 days, but you'll get out and buy some more chicken. How much would you pay for this? They just show them what you're eating there. She's like, look, I don't have no food in the dorm. I just want to savor this moment here.
Well, I got melted chocolate.
How much would you pay for it? Does it have a package on it or? No? How much would you pay for it? What do you think?
60 cents.
60 cents? I'll take it back. You can finish eating it because I know it's good to you. Your toes curling up here. It's like, geez, it's good stuff. It's amazing. Oh, I'm taking this class again, Dr. McNeil. This is good stuff. Please fail me so I can come back. What do you think? $1. $1?
I was going to say that too, $1.
So are you duplicating what she said, or you have your own opinion?
I have my own opinion. I had $1 in my head when she said it, but I would pay $1.
So that was before you blew it out with the balloon, or this is the new you?
This is the new me.
Fantastic. Close your eyes, please. Go ahead and open your right hand, please, and just hold this. He's like, I got it this time. I'm testing. Go ahead and open your hand. Eyes, what do you think? Go ahead, eyes open. What do you think?
That's what I thought.
You like that? Go ahead and open it up. So here's what happens. They open it up. Oh. Oh. He's trying to be hard. Like, I ain't letting you know how much I like it, but oh. Okay, so here's what happened. They had a piece of chocolate here. Pretty generic, right? Nothing special about it. It's just kind of, I'll give $1. It's okay, I'm hungry. But then you put it in the package. That's why people will pay less for generic versus packaging. All a lady wants in her life is a little blue box. Doesn't care what's inside of it. She wants a little blue box from Tiffany's once in her life. Everybody, people who like chocolate want Godiva because it's beautiful. It takes you to another level. I mean, they're still looking at it. Thank you very much. Go ahead. You can have those bags, please. Give yourselves a hand. So that's the power of the brand. When you nail it and you put it all together, you're going to show them your resume. That's your brochure. When you begin to talk to them and they begin to dig a little bit deeper to see how great you really are, they're going to say, this is not a dollar product. This is a brand that I need to pay exponentially more. That's the power of the brand. I need one more volunteer, please. Come up. So we started out with this kind of dry bag, right? Not a whole lot to it. We've been sitting here for an hour, barely turned the color. Nobody has time to wait for your freshness to reveal itself. It has to hit it on the first 30 seconds. This has taken us an hour in cold substance. But the solution we lit the solution in here, the fresh solution. We lit that in the beginning. And now when we take the product, we say, hold that, please. I promise not to scold you. This is our solution here. We're going to immerse ourselves into the right solution. If it hits your hand, don't scream, you're a man. And so it's hot. It's going to change itself and metamorphose into the true brand of who you are. And that's the power of who you really are. Immersing yourself into the right solutions around fresh passion. Now you're able to add sweetener to it, and you're able to give people a product that they're going to enjoy versus staying cold. That's the power of the brand. Thank you for that. Very good cup. Hot cup. Didn't even burn him. Didn't even burn him. He's like, it didn't do nothing. I'm going to stay here and take it like a man. But actually, no, because we believe in the brands, it's actually a double-coated piece because, I'm not getting that two-piece from Kentucky Fried. So he can actually hold a clear glass and enjoy a really good cup of tea. Yeah. That's the power of the brand. That dry stuff that you started with. You have some solutions. How many of you believe you can do it? How many of you believe you can do it? Go ahead and pass these out. What you're going to get to do now is something that's quite amazing. We're going to give you 30 seconds to answer the question with passion and conviction, why should anyone hire me? Your 30-second commercial. You're going to come down here. We'll take a few volunteers. This is an absolutely amazing moment for you to say, why should anyone hire me? Why should anyone hire me? Does anybody have, what did I miss on lingo? Oh, academically, you have to be solid. So here's what I want you to do. Why should anyone hire you? All of you are going home with Revolution Tea because you're going to evolve yourself from that dry substance to a revolutionary brand. So all of you will take some of the greatest tea in the world home. Nice little box there, so very nice tea. So you'll take that with you. Look at there, still steaming, still pretty hot for a long time. Why should anyone hire you? Why should anyone? There was some folks who raised their hands and say they had a brand. Can you volunteer, please? You ready? Who said they had a brand? What's your name? Patrick? The guy behind you. Did you say you had who had a brand? Who's very sure of their brand? Come on down. We'll help you. Yes. Why should anyone hire me? Why should anyone hire me? Why should anyone hire me? Pass that down, please. Why should anyone hire me? What did you guys think of him in 3 seconds? What do you think of? He's quiet. Is that the brand you want to portray? That you're quiet?
Not really.
Not really? So why should anyone hire you?
Because I'm smart. I can.
You're smart? Okay. Never heard someone say they're dumb, but go ahead. I'm still listening. Go ahead.
I'm really good at business.
Really good at business. Go ahead.
I can. It's really easy to make profit if I mean, I can sell myself really easily. If you have a business and you need help,
Tell me about a time you helped somebody in business.
okay. Basically, I have a friend right now. He's investing money on buying and selling cars. So I'm actually doing all the business. I buy the cars, fix the cars, sell the cars, get all the accounting done so I can prove what I spent in the cars and what's the profit. And that's basically
Tell me, and what's the results been like?
pretty good. I mean,
We don't. Pretty is not a number.
it's
Nor is
actually
good.
pretty good. I mean, we make about 30% profit
Okay.
in every car. we
How
sell.
much was he making before you came?
He actually has a job. He's actually just trying to make extra money
And so how were you able to help him make money?
by by running the business and making the business profitable.
One of the main reasons that businesses and organizations fail is they lack a process, an end-to-end process. That's why they find themselves not very profitable. You have to understand your cost of goods, your overhead, and understand your idea of profit margin. What I was able to do with my friend's car company is really look at how do we get the best product at the lowest cost, understand the end customer so that we keep that inventory moving and selling to customers, and understanding where the market is. When I was able to use that three-step process, we're able to go with a 30% profit. My brand is really about looking at the end-to-end process around profitability, buying at the best price, buying the best product, making sure it's right for the customer and selling it to the customer and making sure that you're able to bring on more inventory. That's what's so special about me, understanding profitability from end to end.
Yep.
Is that you?
Yep.
Give him a hand. Took the basic pieces that he had. You want to hire him because he has a process. Anyone else? Go ahead, come on. What's your name? Brittany, make sure you get some tea to go with your Biscoff cookies. Y'all getting all the good stuff. You're going to fail this course, so you come back next year. You're going to go after? Where do we get these glasses? I don't know. They came from some wine enthusiast, I believe, is a company. Which, I mean, where's my guy that volunteered? Can you sell him this glass, please?
Can I sell him?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Go ahead and sell it to him.
We have the new type of tea here.
Keep going.
It's really refreshing. Once you taste it, you're never going to forget the taste. You might want to try it and taste it again, over and over again. And so it's basically a great tea. Well, I would like to buy tea, but I want the glass.
Go ahead and tell me, why should anyone hire you?
My name is Brittany Fields. I'm a leader. I have helped KFC increase their profit in the past year I have been there. And
How did you do that?
We
Not off of these guys, because they took all your breasts for wings. You make nothing off them.
But we worked on our customer service. We had.
And what did you do?
I encouraged my coworkers to be more polite to the customers, and we actually get their orders right, and make sure we give them the correct change so they won't have to.
Who did
call
y'all
and
have working there?
Oh,
And what were the results?
well, our money has been right. We haven't had many complaints from customers, and our food costs have all lowered.
One of the things that we were dealing with in our business is our profitability was lacking. What I'm able to do is there's always a root cause that's driving every problem. The root cause is often the front line. If they're not empowered, equipped, and trained to understand the processes and procedures, you end up with disastrous results like we did when I took over at KFC when I was brought on. What I took a step back to say, let's make sure we have the proper training, make sure we have the proper encouragement, and make sure we have the right reinforcement. Through that three-step process, we were able to reduce our food costs, increase our customer retention, and thus increase our profitability. I'd be excited to bring that level of focus around the front line to your company. Do I start this Friday, or do you really need to wait until Wednesday? Taking her KFC experience, because she's getting the right proof points to be able to develop that commercial. Does that feel good? Does that feel, yeah, own it. It'll be on tape there if you can get that and a pair of Tupperware for $9.99. Questions? I want to save some time for questions. And while we're having questions, I'm going to give you one more thing. So this, you got a sneak preview today of kind of how we do this and the whole brand piece. I'm committed to your success. If you failed after today, it's only because you want to fail, because you have one of the brightest minds in the business, one of the best looking. You're supposed to say, oh, yes. Because I'm committed that you have to live your best life. And that's what it's about. When you get something that people can benefit from, you share it with other people. So you'll get to have a dialogue with me every week if you choose to, where you'll get one tip a week around, this is what I need to do to take my brand to the next level. So they'll pass out the evaluation forms. You'll put some information in there, give some comments, and then that we'll use for the drawing for 7 of the how not to graduate into poverty. And then I think there's some cash or something for something, because all of you got lingo right. So we'll put your evaluations into it, and we'll have like 10 or 12 winners. So let's go ahead and pass those out. But I want to have some time for questions, because what you got today is something very, very heavy. It's a lot going on. So I want to make sure that you have some time to pose questions. What was confusing about it for you? What did you like about it? What can I add more clarity to? How many of you feel like now you think you can take yourself from a generic to a brand? Yeah? What's the most difficult part? Go ahead. What's your name? Taylor.
Senior year. The most difficult part probably would be making that 30-second speech about yourself, because you have to grab their attention so quickly. So that I mean, it's not hard. But it's just practicing and memorizing it. Do you suggest practicing and memorizing it?
Well, you want to keep it fresh. Yeah. So you'll get the foundation as we got with our 2 examples, and then as you get more proof points, you'll say, I want to add another competitive proof point, so I'm going to take a leadership role in Phi Beta Lambda, for example, because I need another proof point around leading people, so I need more to show how I can reduce costs, for example, on what theirs was. So yeah, I practice every single day, and it never gets too old, because you're looking at the competition. I mean, when I got that T epiphany on the plane, I'm like, woo! So how it's always about taking it to the next level. Does that answer your question around the commercial? And then what you'll get is I don't say this lightly. If you get your commercial done and you say, Michael, I need you to listen to this for me. Don't call me at 3 o'clock in the morning breathing hard, my commercial. But you'll set some time up, and I'm happy to go through it to say, okay, tell me what's on it. Let's refine it a little bit, and you'll absolutely come out with it. People who've taken this process, and Dr. McNeil will tell you, we've had some great success with people getting jobs. And not only getting jobs, because we want people to make exponential. It doesn't do any good to have a job and not make money exponentially. Other questions?
Okay, one more question.
Go ahead, please.
About your resume. The only thing I can think about that might just stand out from your resume is your job experience. Like if you haven't had an internship or just really good job experience, or been with the company for years, I feel like your resume just won't stand out. I think everything else is important, but the important part is the job experience. Do you agree with that? The job experience is the most important?
The job experience is important, but you think about it. In terms of internships, you've got to do internships. In the lieu of not having an internship or job, you've got to be extra involved in extracurricular activities to show that you have leadership skills. You just didn't sit there. You were getting leadership skills from your extracurricular activities. But for those of you who are accounting majors, there's the free tax preparation every year, and you have a chapter here. You have to do that because that's experience. This summer when you go home, even if you have to work for 3 weeks at an internship, you want to get that experience on your resume. If it's your uncle's, Jack bootleg car mechanic shop, manage the accounting for him. He probably doesn't know how much he's making or losing. And now you've re-engineered the process for a small business owner. You see how this is working? Don't discount any experience, but really realize I need to get my brochure to a point that is competitive, so I've got to get the right experience. And that doesn't stop once you get into the work world, you have to continue to do that competitive piece. Other questions? This is a great time for you. We normally don't have this much time to ask questions, and it's one of the things that Dr. McNeil has been very gracious with, was giving us enough time at the end that we can answer your questions for it. Go ahead. Tell me your name. Michaela. How can they come off as generic? Pretty much just like you just did. So you notice what I do, and I don't mind you copying me. I smile a lot because I want it to come off my brain is that I'm excited to be here. So what you have to tell yourself when you go into the interview, I'm going to land this job. But if you're trying to rehearse most of us, when we go into the interview, you're rehearsing your answers. If they ask me this, I'm going to say this. Relax. You want to come across as authentic and that you have something that they need. You have a solution that they don't have in anyone else. And when you go across that way, you're saying very specifically, here's what you want to do. Before you go on any intern or any interview, you want to research the company to say 1 to 2 things that they're struggling with. And then you go on the company to say, if you're going to AT&T, you say, one of the things that I noticed that AT&T was trying to do is really how do you market to a new segment that they don't want to be in contracts and they want an unlimited plan. And I realize that unlimited plans are becoming unpopular for companies and they're pulling that back. One of the things that I've been looking at the students on my campus is that we want a package around we want predictable costs. It doesn't have to be unlimited, but it has to be enough and we want it to be predictable. That was one of the problems I was looking at your organization. One of the things that I wanted to pose the question is, how can I help solve that problem? Here's what I think is a solution. What do you think about it? So now you're taking the pressure off of yourself to say, I know one problem this organization has, and here's a solution that I will pose to them. It will set you apart from anybody in the interview, from anyone in the interview. And here's what happened. Here's the other trick. You're going to land a job after this one. When the first time they say, do you have any questions? This is what you're going to say. If you could hire the idea person today, what would they look, smell like? No, you want to do that one. What skills would they have if you could hire the idea person today? They're going to give you the answer, and you're going to think through your head, did I cover off on that? And that's going to be your closing comments to include solutions to what they said was the idea person. Questions? So you have some homework. My perfect day. I got to go by the placement office and the dean office to make sure that, and my professors to make sure that they will vouch for me and that I'm getting the right proof points. I'm not going to be a generic person while I'm at the Great Prairie View. And then I'm going to email Michael when I have a question or a problem with my commercial, and I'm going to practice that in the mirror in the shower around answering the question with passion and conviction, why should anyone hire me? Why should anyone hire me? Dr. McNeil is going to come down. If you'll pass your surveys to the end, I'm going to go ahead and collect those. We'll have the drawings for some stuff here. And all the winners from the drawing will come up and they'll get to pick some stuff here. So pass them down to the right side, and we'll get those picked up. So here's the last lesson. Here's the last lesson. You want to train people how to treat your brand. So I did a very good job for you, so you're going to give me a thunderous applause because you want to train people how to treat you, yeah? Yes. Okay.
Let's give Mr. Brown another round of applause. Mr. Brown will be here afterwards if you want to introduce yourself personally and ask a few follow-up questions. He's willing to do that, so make sure you take that opportunity. After he has the drawing, we're all done. No one has any questions. All right, folks.
Okay, so we have all of those. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to do like 20 drawings. The prizes are the book you can have autographed, the CD, How Not to Graduate into Poverty, and I think some Petro here. So we'll collect those real quick, and then we'll do a drawing and do 15 people. Did you get anything out of this? Was that pretty hot? Pretty nice. We have all of those? Okay. We have everybody? This looks quite thin. Do we have everybody? Oh, wait, some on that end. Get you to do this drill. I'm going to get you to pick. Can you pick 5? Can you pick 5? Can you pick 5, please? Just give me 5. She's like, I don't like her. I don't like her. 3. Thank you. And then you're just going to come up here and get what you like. I'm going to screw this up. Brittany Fields. Did I screw that up bad? How do you pronounce it?
It's Brittany.
Brittany Fields. Dominique Reed. Is that right, Dominique? Christopher Dangerfield. Latoya Williams, Darnisha Harris. Do you have yours?
Oh, they're right here.
Okay. And then just put those back there. Stonisha Kidd. Stone Keisha. Stonisha. Michaela Burton. Lanice Neal. DeMarcus McGee. Y'all had to be born out in the 90s. We had none of these names. Kristen Campbell. Simone Mergus. Simone M. Anthony James Brooks. Deanna Kobe. So you can take either of those items, and then these are the other 5. If you need to talk afterwards, thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming.
Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You need a gas card? Yeah. I'll get one for you.